response to her actions, a trio of laser-bright blue lines appeared, linking the first system to three others. The Malarian Alliance. On the face of it, one of hundreds of such casual alliances. Her slim, deft fingers moved again. Yellow lines appeared, tying the first star to 6 additional systems. Kaitomite Mutual Military Treaty. Never invoked, but still in force. Her smile widened. She was enjoying herself. Now, observe this. Her hands proceeded to play with the surrounding gallographics like a musician strumming an expensive quintolium. When at last Shumai finished, her 3 companions eyed her triumphant handiwork in silence. The 4 visitors were enclosed by a web of lines, straight and uncompromising, blue, yellow, gold, crimson, all the colors of the spectrum. Perhaps even, some dared to think, the colors of an empire. And at the nexus of this web of intensely bright, unwavering lines that represented outstanding treaties and alliances, pacts and planetary partnerships, lay a single, suddenly far less insignificant world. Ancion. With a wave of one hand and a dismissive word from Shumai's lips, the elaborate network faded. It would not do to have someone not privy to the machinations of the group walk in unannounced and see what was being discussed. Awkward questions might ensue. Who would have suspected that a world such as this could lie at the center of so many interlocking treaties? The blue-skinned female was suitably impressed. Precisely the point. Shumai inclined her head slightly in the female's direction. There are other worlds that occupy comparable positions of strategic importance. Worlds more heavily populated, thoroughly industrialized, and frequently mentioned as important players when the current unsettled state of affairs within the Republic is being discussed. In contrast, no one thinks to bring up Ancion. That is the beauty of it. Steepling her fingers, she glanced significantly at Senator Mosul. If we can get the Ancionians to commit to pulling out of the Republic, no one will really care. But because of their alliances, their withdrawal should be enough to sway their already vacillating partners in both the Malarian Alliance and the Kaitomite Treaty to follow. You saw how many other systems are tied in turn to both of those pacts. The effect will be as of an avalanche, starting small, growing fast, and accelerating of its own accord. By the time the Senate knows what has hit it, 40 systems or more will have withdrawn from the Republic, and we will be well on our way to solidifying the kind of changes we wish to see come about. Senator Mosul's fingers clenched tighter and tighter until whiteness showed beneath the skin. That will be the spark that we need to propose the passage of extraordinary measures to cope with the emergency. The Corellian industrialist was all but dancing with excitement. It's wonderfully cunning, this plan you've devised. I know that the interests I represent will agree to send a force to Ancion immediately, to compel the inhabitants to withdraw from the Republic. For an instant, Senator Mosul looked alarmed. Which is exactly what we do not want them to do, Shumai countered sternly. As I seem to recall, the Trade Federation already tried something similar elsewhere. The results were, shall we say, somewhat less than triumphant. Yes, well, the Corellian coughed uncomfortably into one hand. There were unforeseen complications. That continue to resonate to this day. Shumai was unrelenting in her tone. Don't you see? The beauty of this plan is the seeming insignificance of its linchpin. Send a fleet or even a few ships to Ancion, and you will immediately attract the attention of those forces that continue to frustrate us. Obviously, that is the last thing we wish. We want the Ancionian withdrawal to appear wholly natural, the result of internal decisions reached in the absence of external influences. She smiled benignly at Mosul. Will it be? The Twi'lek asked pointedly. Shumai eyed her approvingly. She would be useful, she knew, as would the others she had involved, if they could keep their wits about them. It was Senator Mosul's turn to respond. Like so many peoples, the Ancionians are divided as to whether they should remain within the Republic or step outside the corruption and sleaze that permeate it. Rest assured that there are among its citizens those who are sympathetic to our cause.